I'm Elisa Parker, and we are experiencing, the 13th Annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival. It's all about wildlife. And I am so excited because actually my very first guest is David Gardner, and David Gardner actually created the whole term around GrowthBusters. And first, David, just welcome to Wild and Scenic. This is your first time?
It is, and I'm pretty excited to be here because this festival has an incredible reputation. Proud to be here.
So what is it that you've heard about this festival that has made you want to finally be here?
Well, I'd like to say it's the wildest parties, which maybe it is, but this festival attracts the best activists, the brightest environmental filmmakers, and picks the best environmental films in the world. So that's a high bar.
We're hanging out here at the Del Oro Theater. So you're actually the first person to be in the Del Oro Theater for our 13th year of the Wild and Scenic Film Festival. David, tell us a little bit about GrowthBusters. What is GrowthBusters?
Well, GrowthBusters started out as a documentary that was released 3 years ago, but it started out as a project exploring the sustainability of our humankind's love affair with more. And I thought I was just doing this one film, but it turned out that the subject is huge, and that society is, it's a tough needle to move to get us to really recognize what we need to do as a civilization to make sure that there is a civilization for our kids and their kids. So it's become an ongoing public education project. So I'm doing short films like the one that I have in this year's festival, and I'm about to launch a radio series, and really I'll do just about anything to get people's attention, to bring attention to the fact that we've outgrown the planet.
So what is one thing that you did to change your own life and living patterns?
Oh gosh, it's a constant journey, and every week I come up with something new. But
what did you come up with this week?
This week, well, you know what? I packed in my suitcase. I brought my own dishes so that I wouldn't have to use any paper plates or any disposables at the festival.
That's fantastic.
Including even a cloth napkin.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So watch out at the end of the festival, because your cloth napkin is going to have been around a little bit.
It is going to, it's going to be a disaster area. I might have to launder it every night. We'll see. But, but that's what it takes. I mean, if you have 7 billion people using cloth napkins, imagine how much less there is in the landfill.
That's true. Yeah. And I mean, every single person makes a difference. Everything we do makes a difference, even though we don't always think that. So your film, Spaceship, is it Spaceship Earth?
Yes.
And I loved it. I mean, it's a short film, but it's fun because it gives you perspective of what it's like to land on Earth for the first time, right? So like the flight attendant is giving you information about what to expect when you land on Earth.
Yeah, when we take off on an airplane, every time you get in an airplane, you get kind of the rules of the road, how to behave so that you're considerate to other passengers, but also so that you survive the flight. And it kind of occurred to me, geez, certainly flying in a plane is pretty unforgiving. If you make a mistake, it could be fatal. Well, when you put 7 billion people on planet Earth, it really is a big spaceship hurtling through space, and the kind of mistakes that 7 billion people can make could be fatal as well. So I kind of came up with the rules of that you might get from the flight attendant on the first time you take off on Spaceship Earth, and we tried to have a little bit of fun with it, but there is a pretty serious message behind it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The theme is wildlife this year at Wild and Scenic. So if you could finish the phrase for me, I'm wild about.
I am wild about the future for our kids. I want our kids to have as good a life as we got to have. So that drives everything I'm doing, and so I'm wild about our kids.
That's great. And what's the wildest thing you've ever done to make a difference in the world?
Well, the wildest thing I've ever done is for the GrowthBusters movie, I put on a Ghostbusters kind of coverall suit, and I made a backpack, and I walked down the streets of New York trying to get people's attention to, draw attention to the fact that we were in overshoot. And that was pretty wild, and people still think I'm crazy.
That is wild. That is wild and crazy. Yeah. And so when you think, who are you going to call?
Well, today you got to call GrowthBusters.
All right, you call GrowthBusters. All right, well, we're here for the 3D films. It's a kickoff for the Wild and Scenic Film Festival. So we're getting ready, David.
I'm ready. 3D.
we're ready to go 3D, and we're so excited to have you here with us.
That's going to be wild.
It's going to be wild. All right, David Gardner, it was a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, my pleasure.